Until I feared I would lose it, I never loved to read. One does not love breathing. People generally see what they look for, and hear what they listen for. The one thing that doesn't abide by majority rule is a person's conscience. Atticus told me to delete the adjectives and I'd have the facts. I think there's just one kind of folks. People in their right minds never take pride in their talents. With him, life was routine. Without him, life was unbearable. Real courage is when you know you're licked before you begin, but you begin anyway and see it through no matter what. It's never an insult to be called what somebody thinks is a bad name. It just shows you how poor that person is. It doesn't hurt you. Simply because we were licked 100 years before we started is no reason for us not to try to win. We're paying the highest tribute you can pay a man. We trust him to do right. It's that simple. I was born good but had grown progressively worse every year. Prejudice, a dirty word, and faith, a clean one, have something in common. They both begin where reason ends. Are you proud of yourself tonight that you have insulted a total stranger whose circumstances you know nothing about? Miss Jean Louise, stand up. Your father's passion thought. Shoot all the blue jays you want, if you can hit him, but remember it's a sin to kill a mockingbird. They've done it before, and they'll do it again, and when they do it seems that only the children weep. Good night. Ladies in bunches always filled me with vague apprehension and a firm desire to be elsewhere. There's a lot of ugly things in this world, son. I wish I could keep them all away from you. That's never possible. As a reader, I loathe introductions. Introductions inhibit pleasure, they kill the joy of anticipation, they frustrate curiosity. Things are never as bad as they seem. That boy is your company. And if he wants to eat up that tablecloth, you let him, you hear? There are some men in this world who are born to do our unpleasant jobs for us. Your father's one of them. Time your friends need you is when they're wrong, Jean Louise. They don't need you when they're right. Try fighting with your head for a change. It's a good one, even if it does resist learning. As sure as time, history is repeating itself, and as sure as man is man, history is the last place he'll look for his lessons. A man can condemn his enemies, but it's wiser to know them. I wonder how much of the day I spend just calling after you. The book to read is not the one that thinks for you, but the one which makes you think. You can't really get to know a person until you get in their shoes and walk around in them. I shall never marry Atticus. Why? I might have children. Before Jem looks at anyone else, he looks at me, and I've tried to live so I can look squarely back at him. People don't like to have somebody knowing more than they do. It aggravates them. If you did not want much, there was plenty. I never loved reading until I feared I would lose it. One does not love breathing. You see, they could never understand that I live like I do because that's the way I want to live. Sometimes we have to kill a little so we can live. Don't you study about other folks' business till you take care of your own. Everybody's gotta learn, nobody's born knowing. When he was nearly 13, my brother Jem got his arm badly broken at the elbow. Boo was our neighbor. He gave us 2 soap dolls, a broken watch and chain, a pair of good luck pennies, and our lives. I tried to give him a reason, you see. It helps folks if they can latch onto a reason. Courage is when you know you're licked before you begin, but you begin anyway and you see it through no matter what. One must lie under certain circumstances, and at all times when one can't do anything about them. Don't push her. Let her go at her own speed. Push her and every mule in the county'd be easier to live with. Sometimes the Bible in the hand of one man is worse than a whiskey bottle in the hands of another. Sometimes it's better to bend the law a little in special cases. In other words, all I want to be is the Jane Austen of South Alabama. Talking to Francis gave me the sensation of settling slowly to the bottom of the ocean. Go away, the old building said. There is no place for you here. You are not wanted. We have secrets. When stalking one's prey, it is best to take one's time. Say nothing, and as sure as eggs he will become curious and emerge. Equal rights for all, special privileges for none. I just thought you'd like to know I can read. You got anything needs readin', I can do it. Nothing is more deadly than a deserted, waiting street. Long ago, in a burst of friendliness, Auntie and Uncle Jimmy produced a son named Henry. Just remember that sometimes, the way you think about a person isn't the way they actually are. Atticus said, naming people after Confederate generals made slow, steady drinkers. That proves something, that a gang of wild animals can be stopped, simply because they're still human. Atticus said, I can take anything anybody calls me so long as it's not true. Jem, I ain't ever heard of a nigger snowman, I said.